Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we help you become the expert.
That's right. We take your sources, articles, research, whatever you've sent us, and we break it down. All the good stuff so you can really be in the know without being overwhelmed with too much information.
I love that. And today, we are diving into something pretty cool. No-code machine learning.
Yeah.
It sounds like magic, right? It's like we're going to be building this powerful AI, but we're not going to have to write any code.
It's pretty amazing. It's happening right now. We've got a bunch of articles and resources here to break it all down for you.
Let's start with the basics. What exactly is machine learning? I feel like it's one of those buzzwords I hear everywhere, but if someone were to ask me to explain it, I'm not sure I actually could.
Sure. Well, machine learning, or we can just call it ML, is all about teaching computers to learn from data, just like humans do.
Okay, so instead of us humans having to program a computer with very specific rules, we can let it figure out these patterns on its own.
Exactly. So imagine showing a computer thousands of pictures of cats and dogs, right?
Right.
So instead of trying to code every little detail, like the whiskers or the tail shapes, we let the machine analyze the image and learn to tell the difference between the two, just based on the patterns that it figures out.
Wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
But how does that actually work? What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, it's really a blend of statistics and computer science. It's a special combination that allows the machine to find those hidden patterns in the data, and then from there, it can make predictions based on what it's learned.
Okay, so let me see if I get this. So you're saying, for example, a machine learning model could look at my email and tell me if it's spam or not, and it would be able to do that based on the patterns it's learned from looking at a ton of other emails.
That's a great example. It could spot certain words or phrases or even just sender characteristics, things that are common in spam emails. And from that, it can use that knowledge to flag any future messages.
That makes sense. So where does the no-code part come in? I've always thought that you needed to be like a coding whiz to do anything related to machine learning.
Yeah, you used to. But that's really where things get interesting because these no-code ML platforms are kind of changing the game. They're offering these user-friendly interfaces so you can actually build some pretty sophisticated AI models without having to code at all.
Wait, so you're saying that instead of writing lines and lines of code, I can just use some drag and drop tools to build my own AI? That sounds almost too good to be true.
It does sound like magic, but it really is true. The platforms kind of hide all the complex coding stuff. So it doesn't matter what your technical skills are. Anyone can start using this really powerful AI.
That opens up a whole world of possibilities. We could have marketing teams predicting customer behavior, small businesses personalizing their services. I mean, even artists could be creating new art forms, all without having to know how to code.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's so exciting about it. It's all about giving people the tools they need to solve problems and come up with innovative solutions, and now they don't even have to have that coding expertise.
So you're saying it's empowering people.
Exactly.
We read about one platform in particular called Accio that says it's a true no-code option. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Sure. Accio is a great example of how much easier no-code ML is becoming. It's super easy to use, you just drag and drop. It's known for being really fast and affordable, too. Building and deploying models is so much faster now than with traditional methods that take so long to code and prepare data.
So Accio basically takes care of all that complicated stuff in the background, and then the user gets to focus on the bigger picture, the problem that they're trying to solve with their AI.
That's exactly it. It's almost like having a team of data scientists and engineers, behind the scenes working for you, and you get to be the creative director, and you can kind of guide the AI to get your desired outcome.
That's really democratizing AI, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. It's all about breaking down barriers and making sure that everyone can unlock the power of AI, no matter what their background is.
So it's not just making AI easier to use, it's making it accessible to a much wider audience.
Absolutely. I think this is going to have a huge impact on people and businesses and really just society as a whole. Imagine a world where anyone can build their own AI-powered solutions, to fix any problem they might have. That's really what no-code ML is all about.
It sounds like a major shift is about to happen in how we interact with technology. AI is becoming a tool for everyone, not just a select few.
It's a really exciting time to be working in this field. Honestly, the possibilities feel endless.
But, before we get too carried away, I think we should take a step back and look at all these different types of no-code platforms that are out there. I have a feeling not all no-code is created equal, right?
You're right. There's definitely a difference between true no-code and what we call low-code platforms.
Can you tell us a little more about that distinction?
Yeah, sure. So with true no-code platforms, you don't have to code at all. It's like building something with like visual blocks, you know? You just connect different functions and data sources to make your model. But with low-code platforms, you still need some technical knowledge.
Okay.
You'll probably need to do a little bit of scripting or basic coding to customize some parts of the model.
So true no code is kind of like playing with Legos, and low code is more like building a model airplane.
Yeah.
Like you still need to follow the instructions and use a few tools, but it's still much easier than having to start from scratch.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. They both have pros and cons. And the best choice really depends on what you need and, of course, your technical skills.
So if you're just starting out, I'm guessing a true no-code platform like Accio is a good place to start.
Yeah, it's great for beginners because you can just jump right in and start playing around without having to worry about any coding.
Right.
But if you have a bit of coding experience and you want to have more flexibility, then a low-code platform could be a better fit for you.
So it really all comes down to choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly. And the good news is there are so many platforms out there, you're bound to find one that's perfect for you.
Speaking of all these options, let's talk about some specific platforms. We already mentioned Accio, but what other no-code and low-code platforms are out there that are making a splash in the ML world?
Well, there are some big names that are doing some pretty cool stuff. You've got Google AutoML, which is great for building custom models with minimal coding.
Yeah.
And then there's Amazon SageMaker, which is a really comprehensive platform. It actually has both no-code and code-based options, so you've got a lot of choices there.
Okay.
And of course, there's Microsoft Azure ML, which is a cloud-based service that works for beginners and experts.
Wow. That's a lot of platforms to choose from. It's almost a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how does someone who's totally new to all this even begin to pick the right platform for them?
Yeah, it can seem overwhelming, but it really comes down to asking yourself the right questions. You know, like, what are you actually trying to solve? What kind of data do you have? What's your budget? And how comfortable are you with coding?
And once you've answered those questions, you can start narrowing down your options, looking at the features and the capabilities, and of course the price.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to just try some things out. Most platforms offer free trials, or at least have a free version. It's a great way to test things out before committing.
Great advice. It sounds like no-code ML is really opening up a whole world of possibilities for people who aren't coding experts.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's such a game changer. It's allowing people to build the future they want, and I'm excited to see what everyone comes up with.
So we've got all these platforms making it so easy to build machine learning models.
Right.
But what about the learning part? How do these no-code platforms actually teach the machine how to learn?
That's a really great question because there are different types of machine learning and they're each suited for different types of problems.
Yeah, I've heard a few of these terms thrown around, like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and then there's reinforcement learning. What do all those actually mean?
Okay. Well, let's start with supervised learning because that's the most common type. It's all about learning from labeled data.
Labeled data, what's that?
Okay. Imagine you're teaching a kid to recognize different fruits.
Oh,
So you show them an apple and you say, this is an apple. Then you show them a banana. You say, this is a banana. Basically, you're providing these labels to the data, and that helps the child learn to tell the difference between all these different fruits.
so with supervised learning, we're kind of giving the machine all the answers in advance.
Yeah.
And then it's learning to predict those answers based on all the patterns in the data.
Yeah. Exactly. A classic example is spam filtering. You feed the machine a ton of emails, and they're already labeled as either spam or not spam, and the machine learns to figure out what makes them different.
Okay, so do no-code platforms make it easy to set up that kind of learning, that supervised learning?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. A lot of platforms have these pre-built templates or workflows that are made specifically for supervised learning. You just upload your data, pick the algorithm you want to use, and then the platform pretty much takes care of everything else.
That sounds pretty straightforward. What about unsupervised learning? How does that one work?
So with unsupervised learning, it's all about finding patterns in data that isn't labeled. It's kind of like giving the machine a puzzle
Okay.
and then letting it figure out how all the pieces fit together.
Oh, so we're not really telling the machine what to look for. We're letting it find those patterns all on its own.
Exactly. So a good example of this is customer segmentation. You might give the machine a bunch of data about your customers, like their demographics, what they buy, their browsing history, all that stuff.
Okay.
And then it can group them based on the similarities it finds.
So a business could use that to figure out Like which groups of customers are more likely to be interested in certain products.
Exactly. It's super helpful for targeted marketing, product recommendations, and even personalized customer service.
Wow, that's pretty fascinating. And how do no-code platforms handle unsupervised learning?
Well, it's similar to supervised learning. They usually have like templates or workflows for that too. You just choose the algorithm you want, and then the platform helps you visualize and interpret the patterns it finds.
So you don't need to be like a data scientist to figure out what it all means.
Nope. The platform does the hard work and gives you the insights in a way that anyone can understand.
Okay. What about reinforcement learning? That one always sounded a bit more complicated to me.
So, reinforcement learning is basically teaching a machine how to make decisions by like trial and error. It's like when you're training a dog. You give them a reward for good behavior
Right.
and maybe a little correction for bad behavior. And over time, they start to figure out how to make the best choices to get the most rewards.
So in this case, the machine's actually interacting with its environment and then getting feedback, and that's how it learns.
Exactly. It's learning through experience just like a human would. Like, think about a chess-playing AI.
Right.
It plays tons of games against itself or even other opponents. And with each game, it's figuring out what works and what doesn't. So slowly, it gets better and better at playing.
So the machine's basically teaching itself to play chess.
In a way, yeah. It's pretty amazing.
It really is.
Okay.
Okay. So where does no code fit into reinforcement learning?
Well, reinforcement learning is still a pretty advanced area of machine learning. It's not as widely supported by these platforms as supervised and unsupervised learning, but some platforms are starting to add tools that let you build simple models.
So it's kind of like the next frontier for no code.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to in the future.
Absolutely. I think as technology gets better, we're going to see more and more no-code platforms that have these tools for reinforcement learning. I mean, the possibilities are huge. We could be building systems that can learn and adapt to any environment.
It really is incredible how much easier it's become to use machine learning. We've gone from needing a PhD to build these models to having platforms that anyone can use.
It's like putting the power of AI in everyone's hands.
And the best part is we're really just getting started. There's so much more to come.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be part of this whole movement.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you're most excited about in this world of no-code ML? What trends and applications are on the horizon?
One area that's really exciting is where no-code ML and the Internet of Things, or what we call IoT, meet.
What exactly is IoT, and how does it connect to no-code ML?
So IoT is basically a network of physical devices. Think like vehicles, home appliances, anything that has electronics, software, sensors, and can connect to the internet.
So like smart watches, fitness trackers, smart homes, even self-driving cars, all that stuff.
Exactly. Now imagine combining all that with no-code ML.
Sounds like we could have some really innovative solutions.
Absolutely. Like imagine a farmer, right? They could use a no-code ML platform to look at the data from all the sensors in their fields and then use that to figure out the best way to water their crops or fertilize them.
Wow.
Or someone could use it to create their own personalized energy management system for their smart home.
That's incredible. So we're talking about solving real-world problems in ways that we couldn't even imagine before.
Yeah, and it's not just about practical stuff either. No-code ML is opening up whole new ways to be creative and express yourself.
How so?
Well, we're seeing artists and musicians using these platforms to create things like interactive art installations, music that generates itself, even AI-powered storytelling.
It's not just about convenience and efficiency. It's also about pushing the boundaries of art and entertainment.
Exactly. No-code ML is a tool for anyone to innovate, solve problems, and explore their creativity, and anyone can use it.
It really is a true democratization of technology.
Yeah.
And with everything moving so fast, who knows what amazing things people will be able to create in the next few years.
It's going to be an exciting ride for sure.
So it seems like we're at this pivotal moment. No-code ML is making this really powerful technology available to just about anyone.
Yeah.
But with all these platforms and all these possibilities, where do you even begin?
You know, I think the best place to start is with yourself. Think about a problem you're really passionate about solving. What's something that really keeps you up at night?
Go.
What are some of the challenges you see, in your work or your community or even just the world in general?
So start with the problem and not the technology.
Exactly. Once you know what that problem is, then you can start figuring out how no-code ML can help you solve it.
Don't get bogged down in all the tools before you even know what you're building, right?
Right. And then you have to think about what kind of data you have access to, maybe data you could gather. Because that's really what makes these ML models work, it's like the fuel.
Okay, so like if I'm a marketer, I might have customer data, website analytics, maybe even social media engagement, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And a small business owner might have sales data, inventory records, customer feedback. It's all about finding that data that tells you something important, something that can help you solve that problem.
Okay, and once I've got the problem and I've got the data, then I can start looking at those no-code ML platforms.
Exactly. And that's when you're probably going to feel a little overwhelmed because there are so many. But remember, a lot of them have free trials. So try a few out and see which one you like best.
Any platforms you'd recommend for someone who's like brand new to all of this, just starting out?
Yeah, Accio is a great one to start with. It's really easy to use, and they have tons of helpful tutorials.
Okay. What about for those who want something a little more advanced, maybe something specific to their industry?
Well, you could try Google Auto ML. They've got a wide range of tools to build custom models, and Amazon SageMaker is great too. It has both no-code and code-based options.
It really does seem like there's a platform out there for everyone, no matter what their skill level is.
Yeah, I really think so. And the best part is, all these platforms are always evolving and getting better, so who knows what we'll have in a few years.
Do you have any advice for our listeners who might be feeling a little inspired to dive into the world of no-code ML?
Yeah. Just be open to learning new things. There's so much information out there, tons of tutorials, online courses. Just start experimenting. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
You don't have to be a coding expert to create something amazing.
That's the whole point of no-code ML. It's putting AI in everyone's hands.
So find a problem you're passionate about, go find some data, choose a platform, and start building. You could create something incredible.
Absolutely.
It's been a great discussion. We've talked about what machine learning is, all the exciting things happening in no-code ML. It's really inspiring to think about what we can all do with this technology.
Definitely. And if you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the Before AGI podcast. We'll be talking about all kinds of AI topics.
Don't forget to check out Ian Ochieng AI on YouTube. Lots of tutorials and great insights to help you get started on your ML journey.
Well, thanks for joining us. It's been fun diving deep into the world of no-code ML with you.